Welcome back. I believe I may have found the 7 trumpets in the heavens, but you be the judge and let me know what you think. And as with all things, take it to the Lord and pray about it first. So I need to show you a pattern that's found in the book of Revelation, and if you've seen my other video called Revelation Unlocked, you'll have some background knowledge already about what I'm referring to. The pattern is a sequence, and I need to show it to you so I can point this out in the heavens, which reveals the 7 trumpets. So let's go have a look. So this is the pattern of the sequence that I found in the book of Revelation, and it's in chapter 16, and it's under the bowls or vials. The first bowl or vial is poured out on the earth. The second bowl or vial is poured out on the sea. The third one is poured out on the rivers and fountains of water. The fourth one is poured out on the sun. The fifth one is poured out on the beast. The sixth one is poured out on the Euphrates river. And the seventh one is poured out on the air. Now each one of these groups has 4 elements. So over here we have the elements of a group. There's 4 elements to make up a group. So the first element is the seal, the second element is the trumpet, the third one is the thunder, and the fourth one is the bowl or vial. All these together creates one group. And over here you have each one forming a group. So in the first one, the earth, you have the seal, the trumpet, the thunder, and the bowl and vial. Same with the sea. You have the second seal, the second trumpet, the second thunder, second bowl or vial, etc. all the way down till you get to the air. Now when you look at these 7 groups, you can see a sequence. I'm going to say we're going to take a seed and plant it in the earth. And then after the seed is planted in the earth, a seed needs water. The next 2 are water. In order for that seed to grow, it needs water. And then once the blade comes up, it's going to need sun in order to continue growing. And this plant or crop will continue to grow under the sun. And during its lifetime, it's going to encounter a beast or a tear or the weeds at the struggle of its life. Now the Euphrates River represents a harvest, like crossing over to the other side. The Euphrates means fruitful or abundance. So when you have enough of abundance, it's time for the harvest. And then after the harvest, when you winnow the crop, you throw it in the air to blow away the chaff. Or in our harvest, because we have Jesus, we know we're going to go and meet the Lord in the air. So this passage is from Mark 4:28. For the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself, first the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. I thought this was kind of important and it's pretty neat. These numbers here are pretty interesting because if you take 4 and divide it into 28, you get 7. Like right here, 4 and 28, when I see this, I see moon because you have 4 cycles of 7, which equals a 28-day moon cycle. I just think this is odd. And I know that these numbers were never there when the Bible was first written. So it seems like a fluke or a very convenient coincidence. And it's pretty neat because when you're looking at this sequence that it pointed out earlier, it matches and it just kind of it goes along with this and the Schumann resonance, which I'm going to talk about that in a bit because that's part of how I found the trumpets in the heavens. So right here we have a growth chart of corn. It starts off as a seed, and then you have the blade. The blade gets bigger and bigger, and then the ear first appears, and the ear gets bigger and bigger, until you have the full kernel in the ear ready for harvest. Now I want to correlate this growth chart to the 4 elements that make up each group. Now the 4 elements were the seal, the trumpet, the thunder, and the bowl or vial. So I'm going to correlate this, so stick with me. We'll try to make sense of all this, and it'll all tie together, and hopefully we'll understand it, and it'll paint an amazing picture. So this seed, we'll say it is the seal, okay? The seal, and then this would be the blade, the trumpet. And this even looks a little bit like at the end of a trumpet, okay? The trumpet grows until it gets to this stage, and then this is a new stage, the ear appears. This would be the first stage of the thunder. If you look up here, it almost looks like this would be like fireworks going off, and the fireworks would create like a thunderous sound. And this being the first stage of the thunder with the ear in it, it correlates pretty well. Then you have the thunder getting bigger until you have the full corn in the ear for the full harvest at the bowl or the vial. So stick with me. I'll try and tie all this together and paint this picture, and it'll be pretty good. So I made I call it a growth rate of the group chart, and it goes as such. It starts off with the seal, which is next is trumpet, next is a thunder, and then the bowl and the vial. So the seal equals the seed, and it is equal to the start of the whole plant. And it is 0% because it hasn't grown anything, because it's just been planted in the ground. So the growth rate is 0% at this point. Now when it comes up, it's called the trumpet or the blade, the next part of it. And every trumpet in Scripture has 1/3 written in it, and 1/3 is 33.3%. And here is the picture of the trumpet or the blade coming up, and the blade looks a little bit like the end of a trumpet. The next part in the growth would be the thunder, and that is the ear. Now when the ear appears in the corn, at the top of it you have where the parts get pollinated at the top, and it looks like fireworks going off, and fireworks would create a thunderous sound. Now we don't have any information about the thunders because John was told to seal them up. So we know zero information about it. But we do know, looking at corn growing, that it would be at this stage here where we see the first of the ear, and where the part that gets pollinated at the top. Now the last stage would be the bowl or vial, which is the kernel in the ear, or the full 100% harvest from when it started back as a seal or a seed. This is the full harvest with the kernel in the ear. All right, thanks for sticking with me so far. This is important to understand what we're going to see in Stellarium when we have a look at the 7 trumpets. Now, when I seen the 4 horsemen, the first 4 seals, after I seen them in the heavens, I was led to write the book of Revelations, the parts of the seal, the trumpet, and the bowls. I couldn't write the thunders down because they're sealed up. So I wrote them down. So the first seal, the first trumpet, and the first bowl, I wrote them on a separate sheet of paper. And same with the second seal, second trumpet, and second bowl. I wrote them down. I was led to do this, and I wasn't sure why until after I went through them, and then I seen how they relate, and the title to them was in the bowl. And that's how I came to find all of this that I'm showing you right now. And so I just wanted to fill you in on that, because I'm trying to take you through the process that I went through, because if I go through it that way, I know that you'll understand when we go into Stellarium. So I'm just going to take you through some of the groups right now. I will try not to be too long with that, because I know you want to get looking at the trumpets, and that's going to be the best part. So when you go through the groups, I underlined the key wording. Any words that are underlined in red is location, and any words that are underlined in blue is time. Okay, and I'll probably repeat that when I get into the groups. So we'll have a look at them right now. So this is part of the first group. It's the first trumpet and first bowl or vial. And it says the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and mingled with fire and blood. And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. So I have underlined red, which is location, and time, which is underlined in blue. So every trumpet will have a part that has it's underlined in blue for the third part. Everyone except one is a little bit different, and that would be the fifth, the beast, because it is the weeds, it is the struggle, it is the enemy. Okay, so here we have the earth and the trumpet, and the bowl was poured upon the earth down here. And right here we have the trumpet being a third part. Here we have parts of group 2, the second trumpet and the second bowl and vial. And I underlined in red the location, which is the sea. And down here you have the sea. It's poured upon the sea. And the sea again. And underlined in blue is the time, or the portion. And that is the third part. The third part. Third part. Now when I mean time, I mean growth. Because it's grown to be as big as a third, like the plant. So this is like growing as it goes, because when you look down here at the bowl or the vial, it's every living soul. It's like the whole of it, all of it, the harvest. So up here, I call it time because it is time as it grows. But this is a third part, a third part, a third part. I just want to show you this so that it all relates. I'm trying to show you that when sometimes people think they're overlapping, it makes sense if people thought it was overlapping, because truly it was growing into something different, kind of like a domino effect, how one event leads into other events, and everything kind of spreads. It's like a little bit of yeast, leavens the whole batch. That's the kind of concept I'm trying to get across here. So this is part of group 3. It's the third trumpet and the third bowl or vial. Underlined in red is a location, the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. Upon the rivers and fountains of waters. And under the blue is the third part. And this is parts of group 4, the fourth trumpet, the fourth bowl or vial. Underlined in red is a location, the sun, and underlined blue is the time or the portion, the third part, the third part, the third part, the third part, and the third part. So this is part of group 5, the fifth trumpet and the fifth bowl or vial. And as for the red, the location is the seat of the beast, and I have underlined here Abaddon and Apollyon, because that is parts of the beast. And for time, it is 5 months, 5 months. Now this one is different than all the other ones, and it's because it's not really part of the plant that's growing here. It is the weed that is fighting against it all, and that is the enemy, the devil. He's always against us. So here is parts of the sixth group, the sixth trumpet, sixth bowl and vial. And underlined in red is the location, the great river Euphrates, the great river Euphrates. And underlined in blue is the part of the time, third part and third part. Here we have part of the seventh group, the seventh trumpet and the seventh bowl or vial. And underlined in red we have the location, and that is the air. And up here we have the voices in the air, because you need the air to have the voices in. And this is the correlation that I found here. As for time, because it's the last one, there really isn't any time left. Thanks for sticking with me again. After this talk, we're going to go into Stellarium. I just want to talk a little bit more about the whole cycle. But what I found in the book of Revelation, it starts with the earth, then it goes to the sea, and then the rivers, and the sun, and the beast, and the Euphrates River, and the air. It's a cycle. It's like a growth. Starts off, you growth, and then the harvest. The beginning and the end. And that's what I want to talk about. And the part I want to talk about is the seed, okay? And I want to pose a question, because if I can bring you about to your own epiphany, it helps think in new ways. So my question is, where do seeds come from? Okay? So where do seeds come from? So if I take a seed and I go out on the prairies where the land is flat for as far as I can see, and I can plant a seed, where did that seed come from? Okay? I can go up a mountain or walk halfway up. It gets too rocky up top, but you can still plant seeds about halfway up. There's earth there still, and I could plant seeds. But where did the seed come from? Or I can go down into a deep valley, and I can go down there and take a seed and plant it. But where did the seed come from? Well, it doesn't matter where you plant the seed in the earth. It's always going to come from the same place. It comes from up above. Up above, down into the earth. That's what I want to talk about, the seals. Okay, when the Lion of Judah breaks the seal, okay, it's like planting that seed. Whatever's written in the book of Revelation, and they're in chapter 6. Okay, you read them, the seal's broken. What it says, it might not appear on the earth immediately, okay, because it's broken. It's like a seed coming down to the earth, okay. And what is the seed in its essence? Well, when you look at a corn kernel, you don't see the plant, but it's packed, okay. A seed is like prophecy. It's packed full of information that's going to take forth. It's going to come to the earth, and it's going to play out. It's going to happen. So you plant this corn kernel in the earth, and inside is packed full of prophecy. It's programmed DNA to grow this plant of corn, and it's going to do that. Same with the seals. When those seals are broken, what is written in Revelation chapter 6, even if it doesn't see it happening right away, is going to happen. When you read through it, it's like prophecy. It's going to happen. It's going to grow out, and it's going to get there. And I wanted to make that point. And when we get into the stellarium and we look at it, and you understand the groups from the seed to the trumpet to the thunders to the whole bowl, there's 7 groups, okay? And that's what I found in the heavens. Where I found the 7 groups, and I found them in a sequential order, and I found them after the anomaly on June 18th on the Schumann resonance. I found it after that, because on June 18th there was an anomaly on the Schumann resonance, which was very strange, and you can go on and look that up, and you can have a look at that if it's still online. I know some places are taking it down, but so that's kind of what led me to have a look in the heavens. And I also recognized a pattern with the full moon, so I combined them together, and I found that's how I was led to them. So I want to show you now. So we're going to start back here at the 7th seal, where the full moon is in the mouth of the Lion of Judah. So we're going to go forward in time. We're going to follow the full moon, because the full moon is eventually going to point at all 7 trumpets. And that's going to happen with the first full moon after the June 18th anomaly on the Schumann resonance. So we're going to go forward in time following the moon. We got to make sure the moon is 100% full. And we can check that by looking over here under the moon here on the left. Under phase, it says 100%. So right here with the moon in the hind quarter of the lion, So that is the first full moon. I'm going to go forward till the next one, which is right here in the Virgin. And the next full moon ends up in the Scales. And this was it wasn't a full lunar eclipse on this particular day. This was the day of King Charles's coronation, and it wasn't a blood moon. It wasn't a complete lunar eclipse. It was only a partial. That's why Stellarium won't show it go red. It stays white. And we're going to go forward to the next full moon, and it ends up being in the Scorpion, 100% full. Okay, so now we're at June 4th here, so we're gonna go forward until we reach June 18th, where the anomaly on the Schumann resonance occurred, and here we are, June 18th. So yeah, the location of where the sun and the moon are right now is known as the Silver Gate, and I'll touch on this again because it's gonna come up later, so I won't talk any further about it right now. So we're gonna continue on to the next full moon, because the next full moon reveals the first trumpet. And here we go. So here we have it. The full moon on the rider on a horse. And this was the very first place that the first seal took place, and the second seal, and the third seal, and the fourth seal. But this is the first one. The first seal took place here. It was a rider on a white horse that was with a bow, given a crown, to go forth conquering and to conquer. And what was he going to conquer? He was going to conquer the earth. So on our chart, the very first one was earth. And this points to the trumpet of the earth. So we're going to go and talk about that. So that was the first trumpet. That was the first full moon after the June 18th anomaly on the Schumann resonance. And it came to the rider on a horse where the first seal was broken. The rider on a white horse with a bow, given a crown, to go forth conquering and to conquer. What was he going to conquer? He was going to conquer the earth, and that's the number one group. That's the theme of it, the earth. And in the trumpet, it also says earth. So there it is for your first trumpet. So we're going to go and look now at the second trumpet. You'll find these trumpets are going to be very quick, like almost every month. And so yeah, pretty rapid concession. So we're going to go look at the next trumpet, second trumpet. So we'll pick up where we left off here in the first trumpet, and we're going to go forward until we get to the next full moon. And here we are, the full moon coming in here, and I'm going to go forward and backwards on this one. So I want you to look over here at the phase. It's 100%, and when we get to 99, right there, I'm going to stop. Now we're going to go backwards. We're going to go backwards until we get to the median line of, this is the sea goat. So the back end's the sea, the front part's the goat. It's the sea goat. Okay, and now the full moon here is at the median line, the halfway point between the two. There's a scripture in Revelation talking about 1 foot being on the sea, 1 foot being on the land. I'm not referring to that, but it is interesting that this trumpet appears here. The second trumpet appears here, and at the median point of a land and sea creature. And it's really the only one out of the 12 that does this. And there's some really special things going to happen in these trumpets, and this is one of the special things. And another special thing here is, look at the date. It's August 1st. So this month is going to have 2 full moons. So the second full moon in a month is called a blue moon. And that's because it doesn't happen very often. That's where the phrase comes from, once in a blue moon. And that's where we get this here. So the next full moon is going to be part of this trumpet as well. And I'm going to go forward in time now to the next full moon because it's in the same month. Okay, so this one's in the sea goat. I'm going to go forward to the next full moon. And here we are. I'm going to go forward. So this here, as you can see, it's 100% phase, full moon, and it's in the water bearer. So from the median of the sea goat to here is a full month. So the second full moon is a blue moon. Now the moon does not go blue. My kids asked me that, and to their disappointment, I said, no, the moon stays white, which is called the blue moon. This once in a blue moon, you get 2 full moons in 1 month. So because of this, these 2 full moons are part of this trumpet in the sea. And now this is important for this to happen, and it makes this actually more rare, and you actually need this to happen to make this work out in the end, which you'll see later. So now my problem with this is I don't know what date exactly to call this date on the second trumpet. It's either on the 1st or the 31st or somewhere in the middle. So I'm leaning more towards the August 1st because it's right on the median, and it was just after that it goes 99, so it goes off the full moon. So I'm thinking this is August 1st, but let me know in the comments if you think it should be another date. If something else, you have some inside information that I don't know, then let me know, because I'd be curious to hear about it. So anyway, this is the second trumpet, and yeah, we'll go and we'll talk about it. So that was the second trumpet, the sea. After Earth becomes sea, and that one was in the sequence, and that represents the sea with the sea goat and the water bearer equating the sea. And I don't know which date to pin that one on, but yeah, leave me some comments and let me know what you guys think. But yeah, and the sea is mentioned in the group. Like if you read the trumpets, you read the bowl, the vial, it's poured out on the sea. All right, so that's how I was led to see these things in the right order. And after I seen them all, I'm like, wow, that's this is pretty neat. So anyway, that is the second trumpet, and we'll go look at the third trumpet. Okay, we'll carry on here from the second trumpet, and we'll go forward till the next full moon, which brings us to right here, to the fishes. So this one brings us to the fishes, and that would be the rivers and water and fountains of water. That would be the next trumpet, and that's on September 29th. So yeah, the next full moon lands here, and this one represents the rivers and fountains of water. All right, so let's go and talk about it. So the third trumpet, 1 full moon cycle, and it brings us to the fishes, which represents the rivers and fountains of water. And if you look in the trumpet, the bowl, and you'll see that it says rivers and fountains of water. So right here you have it for your trumpet. Okay, so let's go back in and we'll go look at the fourth trumpet. So we'll continue off here from the third trumpet, we'll go next full moon, and it shows us the 4th trumpet right here. Okay, so we had the moon coming in here, and right here it's a full moon, and you have it right beside Jupiter, and right under here the ram, the lamb of God, and you have Jupiter, Jesus. So this one is supposed to represent the sun. Now the actual sun's not here, but you have two representatives. The moon's right between Jupiter and the ram, like the sacrifice. This, to me, it's a spiritual sun, the Son of God, Jesus. And then you have the ram, the male lamb, the Lamb of God. And this one to me was pretty obvious in a spiritual sense that this is the sun, even though it's not the sun's son, if you know what I mean. And that was on October 29th. So this is the sign for the 4th trumpet. And so let's go and talk about it. I really like that one, the 4th trumpet with Jupiter there and the ram there. The odds of that coinciding right there when it needed to be is pretty remarkable. That would be hard to replicate, like at another year. It's gonna take years and years to get to where we are. I might end up doing some odds about all of this so far, because like the blue moon one on the sea of the 2nd trumpet, and then this one, that's the odds would be like, if you're taking the variables, we'd be getting in some really big numbers by now. And I didn't do that because I just found these last night. And so I found last night, I said, I want to make a video of this. I didn't think I was going to find anything. And it was like, I did, because I haven't been looking. First time I looked, and yeah, and I seen it. And when I seen it, because I understood the revelation, what the Lord was showing me on the pattern, the sequence, from the earth to the air. And when I seen this, it was like, wow. So yeah, this was with the Jupiter and the ram. Yeah, that was like that was really like I don't know, it was pretty classy, and it's just like, yeah, he just keeps amazing me. He keeps amazing me with what he creates up there. And this was another one, like kind of makes me giggle. It's like, wow, that's really cool way to represent the sun. So there it is, 4th trumpet. So let's go and take a look at the 5th trumpet. Okay, we'll carry on from the 4th trumpet, and we'll go forward. We're looking for the next full moon, and the next theme, the 5th theme, is the beast. So a full moon and a beast. So here we go. The full moon here, phase 100%, and we land on the bull. And yeah, that's pretty fitting for the beast. So that's November 27th. So here it is, the beast. So let's go and talk about it. So that's the 5th trumpet, and you can see here where on the bowl there it says bowl is poured out in the seat of the beast. And in the trumpet, it gives the actual names of the beast. It gives it in 2 different languages, as Apollyon or Abaddon. So yeah, so there it is there. And so yeah, it correlates. The next full moon landed right on the bull, and that is the beast. So let's go in next, and we'll look for the 6th trumpet. Okay, we'll carry on from the 5th trumpet. Go full moon, looking for the 6th trumpet. And get closer. And Okay, here we go. So, moon phase 100%. So we have a full moon here. And when I seen this last night, it was amazing because I'll just show you. It's known as a silver gate, but I'll just show you. This is supposed to represent the Euphrates River, and this is actually the Milky Way, which is like the river in the stars. You can see it right here from the top down, and it's wide here, and it narrows down right here at the silver gate, and it gets wider again. So yeah, right there, it's just this one amazed me. Like, it's just because as you're progressing through, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how is the Euphrates River gonna get done? So anyway, this is it, the Euphrates River, right here in the Milky Way, the river and the stars. All right, so let's go and talk about this. Yeah, I like that one too. The sixth trumpet landing right in the Milky Way, and that was good. Yeah, I didn't see it coming, but there it is. That was really good. So, I do want to do some odds of all this because I did after I found these last 8. I went ahead a few years looking to see if it happens again, like if the full moons land on all those things, and they don't land. They're off, and so it's gonna, because I understand how they work up there, and then you have the blue moon on the second trumpet, and you have Jupiter in the ram on the fourth trumpet. So that's it's going to be many years, and I'd be looking for a long time, and I don't have like a month to spend looking. But if someone else finds another year in the future that all these full moons line up to match from the earth to the air, and so this one here, Euphrates River, 6th trumpet. And you can see in the trumpet and in the bowl or the vial where it says the great river Euphrates. So the 6th trumpet. Okay, so let's go in and we'll look for the 7th trumpet. Okay, we'll carry on here from the 6th trumpet. We'll go forward to the next full moon. And we'll see where it brings us. Almost there. And there we have it. Now, full moon here, right here. This is the crab, and yeah, I'm gonna do some talking about this one because anyway, right here is called a beehive cluster. It's in the crab, and I want to turn this around if I can. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to turn everything off, the art, okay, for starters. And I'm going to do a shout out to Robert Williams. He has a YouTube channel, and he looks at the Mazra, the constellations, from a Christian or Hebrew perspective when he looks at these. And he has speculated, and he has brought forth that this crab is not, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in the constellation. And we're going to talk about that. But I want to show you, before we talk about it, I want to show you here what he speculates. And I agree. I absolutely agree. The crab never fit. It just never fit. It's one of those things that I believe that Satan has obscured it. He's hid it, occulted it, covered it up, just so that it would be harder to see. Because once I tell you what this is, you might look at the book of Revelation a little bit different. Okay, because it will start to slowly like, okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna tell you. All right, this, what I believe, is supposed to be an eagle. All right, so these from here to here would be the wings. Now these lines here and this line here, though those shouldn't be lit up. And I believe what should be lit up is these stars here in a line down here, and these ones here. The legs coming down and picking up a fish. Okay, or just flying. I mean, you don't have to put the fish in there, but there's a prominent star right here would be perfect for the eye of a fish. But anyway, this here, I believe it is an eagle. Okay, but we don't need it for the air aspect of this, because we already have the beehive cluster, even if we keep in the crab. But if you go on Robert Williams' YouTube channel, he talks and he teaches about this. I've learned a little bit from him as well, and he makes posters and stuff about the Mazzaroth, the 12 constellations. It's good. I recommend watching his channel. But and because I think if he ever watches this and sees this, how these come in order, and I'm using the beehive cluster, even with the crab here, I'm sure he would agree and be like, here's a fine example of why it should be the eagle. And we think it's been swapped out and hidden because the ones that knew, they didn't want anyone else to know. And that's a whole other topic. We can get in on that another time. Anyway, I'll put the art back on. Anyway, this here, this is the beehive cluster. This represents your air. I believe it's also an eagle, double air here. But anyway, let's go and we'll go and talk about this. So that was his 7th trumpet, and the full moon at the beehive cluster to give you the theme of the air. I also personally believe it's an eagle as well, just like Robert Williams. If you're going to look Robert Williams up, you're going to have to type in Robert Williams Mazzaroth. And because you're going to get a lot of other results for Robert Williams, so you have to type in Mazzaroth as well, and he will come up. And there's another reason why I think it's an eagle, and I want to read part of the Revelation. It's in chapter 4, and it says here, "And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. The first beast was like a lion." So there's your Lion of Judah up there. "The second beast was like a calf," and that's like the bull up there. "The third beast had a face as a man," so you got a couple of them up there. You have your water bearer or your rider on a horse. "And the fourth beast was like a flying eagle." So there it is there. And that was in chapter 4, verses 6 and 7 of Revelation. So, yeah. And I just think that the devil has obscured that. And because I think if people knew that there was an eagle up there and they're reading Revelation and they see those 4 creatures in Revelation, like, I think the light bulb will go on, and it'd be like, hey, maybe we should be, in the end days, we should be looking at the stars, because I can trust the stars, because when I turn my TV on, can I trust what's coming on and the news I'm getting? Yeah, so, and that's the way I felt ever since the Revelation 12 sign came out. I really felt like that. I was like, okay, he might be trying to tell us something, and I remember that. I said, well, maybe it's a good good timing that this is happening, because yeah, it's very hard to get truth these days. It really is very hard to get the truth. So anyway, that is the seven trumpets. And yeah, I know it's a bit long, and I know I had to go through a lot of that stuff, but I felt it necessary to teach a little bit on that and what the Lord showed me when I put everything on the 7 sheets of paper, and I was able to see that this pattern, like from the earth to the air, and it's how they're connected, how each one of these grow, and I mean, if I didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have recognized the trumpets. So I wanted to just show y'all so that you could see it too. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, it was like there's 8 moons there, and the way there was some really amazing trumpets, because the blue moon was a necessity, because yeah, when I went looking for this to repeat, and it doesn't, and I don't know how far ahead I'd have to look to see if it ever is going to repeat, but the fact that it did this right after the 7th seal, well, 5 months later, and it has this happen in a row, that's amazing, with especially like with the second trumpet, the fourth trumpet, and yeah, some of them, even the 6th trumpet, some precision done there. The odds, I want to do the odds eventually, but yeah, I just seen them last night. I want to get a video out, so probably by the time I get this video out, it probably won't be last night. It'll probably be a day or two. I gotta put it together. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I just want to say thank you for popping by. I love you all very much. And yeah, this is getting, I think we're getting closer. Every day we're getting closer to the end, but this, what's going on in the world, seeing these things happen. And yeah, we're getting close to the end. And so if you don't have Jesus, yeah, get Jesus. He needs to be your savior, you know. And if you don't have him and you want him, email me, and put it in my email in the description, and we can chat back and forth. But I want to say God bless you, and yeah, until the next video.